record. Welcome, everybody, to Tuesday, June 1st. Can you believe that? It's June. Okay. Our last week in this class. And it's already Tuesday. It feels like a Monday, but it's already Tuesday. So we're already partway into our week. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here because mostly what I have to talk about is on our Google Classroom. Okay, what did I put up here for the main big announcement? I put the last Zoom schedule for the week, which we're meeting today and we'll meet on Thursday. Of course, there was no Zoom yesterday because of the holiday. I decided to make some modifications to turn our internet web questions into our final test because, quite frankly, I was going to let you use your notes anyway in the final test. So why do all the questions and then have to turn around and do what? Same thing again? Because I always wrap it up with internet test. Now, in a normal year, we'd have a comprehensive about Word and PowerPoint and Excel and internet, but we're not going to worry about that this year. So you guys get a big break. And the final test is going to be literally that, the final test. It's not going to be a final exam. It's not going to count for 20% of your grade or any of the normal things that a final exam would be. It's just going to be your final test, just worth this 60 points of our final test. And it's just going to be just answering the questions that you may already have done or mostly done. So that's even better, giving you a break here. Back to the Zooming here. I'm in this part right here, the stream thing. Like I said, we're Zooming today and Thursday. And now let's check this part here out. No new assignments this week. So what I'm turning into a test is actually from a previous assignment that had been assigned. And I'm not doing any new assignments, which for some of you, it's like, hey, Mr. Rio, I'm all caught up. I don't have much to do this week except the test. And for other of you, it's like, this is a golden opportunity to get anything you're missing in. What I mean by anything you're missing, I mean in by Friday. Okay. I pretty much am treating this class like it's ending on Friday. Okay. So I can talk to you individually. If someone needed another day or two, they can contact me. If there's some extenuating circumstance, but other than that, I've been bugging people for weeks and months about catching up work. So by this point, we all just want to be done with it. So there's no new assignments this week, which is pretty nice. Okay. I'm going to go up to class work. Here's our week. We got our final test, which is going to be our internet web questions, which I've reworded a bit. So I put here, this is the same assignment from last week, except now I'm counting as your final test. We will discuss more in the Zoom sessions Tuesday and Thursday. That's right now. There are no new assignments. I already put that. Read my big announcement and the stream. That's what I've been talking about. And contact me with personal questions. So this isn't even an assignment. This is just an explanation. And this here, I moved it up. Okay, I moved it from the previous weeks up till here. So some of you have turned it in already. That's okay. As long as you get in this week. Okay, if you don't have it already in already. I reworded this here to turn it into the final test. I explained this here. Now, here's one thing I don't want you to do, and I'll spot it in a moment. And that's just go look stuff up on the web and copy and paste it. I get students who do that. As far as I'm concerned, they don't want anything beyond, maybe a 0. Okay. Don't do that. I can spot it immediately. I know how things are worded like that. It's better to have typos and misspelled words and do your own wording than it is to copy and paste something that you still don't have no clue what it's about. But you can look stuff up on the internet. You're supposed to, but then put it in your own words as best you can. Okay. Just copy and paste it or make it 99% the same. That's plagiarism. Okay. You have to make changes on it, put it in your own words, and look stuff up on your own. I'll talk about that when we go over the test questions. So I can't emphasize that enough. Plus you'll learn nothing. Okay. So, hopefully none of you did that. If any of you did and need your document back, let me know. Okay. before this here, all these things, get them in if there's anything you're missing. So hopefully you got everything in. Okay, I'm just going to go over the assignment itself. I already started doing this. Matter of fact, we did 2 of them together. So we did 1 and 2 together. Now I'm not going to continue doing them together, but I'm going to talk about what I'm looking for. Okay. So for those of you that are, with the web are wondering what I'm looking for, that's what the Zoom session is going to be about. Okay. So number 3, what is the World Wide Web and how does it work? First of all, let me explain a couple of things. The internet's been around since the 60s. The web's been around since the early 90s. That's over 20 years difference. So the internet has been around a long time, longer, and the web been around lesser time. The web is on the internet, but the web is not the internet. The internet is a whole bunch of networks connected to other networks, and they can communicate with each other. They were around before the web. The web was developed by people who were using the internet in those days. It was started by a scientist named Tim Berners-Lee, who was a British scientist. He was working in Switzerland at the European Nuclear Research Center. And him and other these high-level nuclear research people, they decided, well, we use the internet, but it doesn't work very good. Let's make it better. So there are people that more dabbled in, writing code and all that stuff than people did that for their main job. So they created the web servers, web pages, how it works, HTML. If you take my web design class, we go into this in more detail. And how does it work? It works like this. You have a web server that hosts websites. Okay, all websites are on a web server. A server is connected to the internet and it runs 24/7. Then you can go to a web page. But we won't talk about making them. We'll talk about using them, and use a web browser. And you go to a web page, and you can do web search, which is usually Google. And then you can find whatever you're looking for, articles, videos, pictures, or whatever. And you can read them or download them or use them as you like. So that's in short what the web is about. Okay. 4 web browsers. There's Microsoft Edge, if you ever heard of that. There's Apple Safari, if you're a Mac user. There's Firefox for people that want something a little different. And there's the big one, which is Chrome. Chrome is what most people use for their main browser. What is a search engine? Now, a lot of people mix up browsers and engines. I'll put down, Safari as a web browser or a search engine. No, it's not. It's a web browser. Same with Chrome. They'll put Chrome in that. You'll put Chrome down as a search engine. No, it isn't. It's a web browser. What is a search engine? The most famous one is Google. Google is a search engine. It is designed for search. Okay, and there's some other features connected to that. Yahoo is a search engine. And there's a whole story behind that and how they were dominant and eventually got overtaken by Google. Bing is a search engine, Microsoft search engine. And there are others out there. I won't go into all of them. A firewall. Okay, if you run any kind of a network or even your own computer, but we're going to focus on networks because that's the internet's mostly about networks. Firewall is a software or hardware device used to help protect the network. So say the Harper Creek network got firewalls all over the place so you can't break in and steal information. Let's say they leave an opening and there's a crack in their internet reliance. And eventually people can hack backwards and, get into your system. You don't want that. So firewalls are used to protect networks. Now, I could go into more detail. I'm just giving you a general idea what this stuff is. What is Wi-Fi? Wireless fidelity, that's what it's short for. It's for doing internet, wireless connections. And a lot of people get Wi-Fi. There's Wi-Fi all over the place. They come out with new versions of Wi-Fi. What is the latest version? Look that up. What is it used for? Wireless internet connections. So it can make your life easier. Most people like having Wi-Fi at home. Most like using it at school or work. Okay, USB-C. That's an easy one. It's a new type of USB cable. It's only been out a few years, and it allows fast transfer. It allows a lot of things on it. I won't go into details of USB-C. You can look that up. Facts, frequently asked questions. That's a section of a website with the questions people are most likely to ask for that website. So you can look that up and give some examples in that, but that's quite well known. AUP is about the internet user agreement. We used to call them internet user policies. Now we just call acceptable use policies. So it's about using internet or technology at school. We'll just focus right now on the internet. Okay. An ISP stands for Internet Service Provider. Everyone with internet has an ISP, somebody or corporation or something that runs their internet. Web 2.0, that's the idea of a more active and interactive just looking here. Web 2.0. Web 2.0 is the web changed. The early web was kind of like reading a magazine. You went to a website, you looked at pictures, you looked at articles, and that was it. There wasn't a lot of interaction. Then they started coming out with Twitters and YouTubes and Facebooks and Instagrams and everything. That's all Web 2.0. It's interactive. You can interact with the site, interact with people on the site. And if you look up Web 2.0, you see a bunch of examples. It's been around a while. It's been around over a decade. It's not literally a new web. It's just a new way of using the web. Internet 2. Oh, I skipped over these. Internet threats. Hacking, phishing, malware, ransomware. I think I talked about these briefly last week. They're all threats. Look them up. It's because it's a test now. I'm not giving you all the answers. You can look those up, explain them, do a good job explaining them. If you want full credit, do a nice job on this. What is Internet 2? Back when they first started the internet, it was pretty much just like the government, researchers, people like that. It wasn't the general public. When they made the internet public to everybody, then they created something called Internet 2, which is pretty much what the internet used to be, another network. It's just for government and businesses and university and that. So I'm just giving you a little idea what it is. Look it up, read about it, and do a good job explaining here what it is, answering those questions. And the last one is Bluetooth. You can look up its current version, give different examples. And I think everyone knows this is a type of wireless technology. So it's worked really good for me. You can look up and there's a bunch of information for that. That's it. There's not a lot to do. So just looking through here. That's pretty much it. Okay, so it's not that hard. I made it pretty easy for you guys to wrap up here on the internet. So do that assignment, do a good job on it. If you want full credit, you can submit it. You can do it anytime. You don't have to wait till Friday. You can do it anytime. I just took your old assignment and turned it into the final kind of test just to learn about the internet and wrap up the internet. You're going to submit it right here. So it's under our week. I moved it from where it was on a previous week. And that's it. No new assignments. So bottom line is get your stuff in, do that test, which is like an assignment. You can use your notes. So you can do, actually, you're not going to use notes so much. You're going to use Google and you're going to look up a couple different sources for each one that you need to write a definition for. Write original answers. Don't copy and paste or plagiarize, because I will catch that. Um, yep. So you can check out any of your old assignments. I'm going to be working on grading and stuff. So keep in touch with me about that. I want everything in by Friday, unless I make a personal deal with you to give you a little extension. Okay. But unless you're in touch with me and I tell you otherwise, get everything in by Friday. Officially, I'm here at school till next Monday, which would be my afternoon classes, but I don't want to deal with stuff beyond Friday unless there's a good reason for it. Okay. So, everyone, have a great day. That's about it. I'm going to turn off the recording.